First of all, may God will give all of you a long and healthy and happy life. That you're going to be married this year to hear כל ששון וכל שמחה, כל חתן וכל כלה, and let us say amen. Our shiur Torah today, in the whole year, is going to be לעילוי נשמת האישה הכשרה שנפטרה בשם טוב מן העולם, מרת פניר פטימה בת סיביה, בת סיביה, ואת זלפה בת בלור, also זלפה בת בלור, also רומא רחמים בן אליזה לאה, וחנוכה בן מיכאל, that hold in this class in the last 3 or 4 years already. רוח השם תכם בגן עדן, 5 years, wow, 5 years, בני רחמסה, וחמישיתו יוסף עליו. The pasuk says when you get into 5, you have to add more and more and more, and let us say amen. Our shiur Torah is the success of all of you. Today we're going to speak about asking the right questions and getting the right answer. Just before, I'm going to give a few one introduction, but it's going to be to a few different directions. We just end to Bishvat. And the pasuk said, "Kichu imachem devarim v'shuvu el Hashem." You know what I said? "Kichu imachem devarim." You know what it means? Kichu. When you're coming into shiur Torah, when you're coming into a school, when you're coming into a university, when you're coming into a business deals, the only question that you have to ask yourself after is what? What did I took with this? I came here and I spent 1 hour shiur Torah. What's the message that my life? Is there any message for my life? If not, I'm just, this is the problem in our generation. That we live in a generation that do not really care so much about messages. We are export of born in times. Actually, born is soft as man. You know what I mean, born in time? Sitting down, you have nothing to do. I have nothing to do. Let's go to Starbucks. Spend 6 hours doing nothing. Watching movies that doesn't affect anything in your life. Doesn't teach you nothing. Go to basketball or football or any other games that you love so much. No offense. The only one that making money is the player. And you're so upset and so emotionally. I know, the player is not even your family. Why are you getting so excited? That's it, you're fighting, and God forbid if your wife will bother you. I don't understand. I told you many times, this generation, I call it the cuckoo generation. The most talented and the most brilliant generation in the world history. But in the same time, nothing is working with logic. You pay $1,000, $3,000, $5,000 or $100,000 for a watch. That is not your family, and it's not your friend, and you are a walking billboard, and you're willing to pay $100,000 to be a walking billboard of somebody else. What a loser you have to be. And you feel good. Wow. Don't look at me like this. Richard, you know Richard? Richard. Do you even know Richard? Richard is your family, I don't understand. You pay in a bag $3,000 and your lady is a walking billboard. No, at least they're going to pay you, I understand. If the company pay you money, I will approve this message. Sponsored by Rabbi Vaknin, here at the BJCC at Minyan Tod, 2nd floor, the place to be. No doubt. But it's not only that the company doesn't pay you, you pay top dollar and you feel cool. What a psycho generation. I love our generation. You're going into games, you pay $250 and you are upset the whole games and you made and screaming, and the only one that making money is the player. What do you have to do with the games? Tonight, with God's help, we're going to make sure that when you're going to leave this class will change your life. Even a bit. But you're not going to leave here empty-handed. So what's the message? We just left Tu Bishvat. Tu Bishvat is the holidays of 3. The holidays of 3. Tu Bishvat הגיע, חג לאילנות, Rosh Hashanah. The same way that we have Rosh Hashanah to human being, we have Rosh Hashanah to the tree. How do you define how old is the tree? Start from Tu Bishvat. A day before Tu Bishvat is already one year. Day after is 1 day. What's the difference? It's like coming in before Rosh Hashanah or after Rosh Hashanah. The different, how you define what's the age of the tree, is good for Masrot, for Olah, for many halachot. We're not going to touch it. But is these days, today is Tu B'Shvat. What's the message? And I will tell you why it's important to know what's the message. Because human being compared to tree. The Torah said, the Pasuk said, Ki Adam Etz HaSadeh. We are comparing ourselves. The Torah compares us to a tree. What's the connections? So I will tell you the first message, and a beautiful message. A beautiful message to have. I heard this message from Rabbi Jacobson, a story that I love it so much. It was a man by the name Sir Edmund Hillary. Sir Edmund Hillary was a very famous person in England, London. You see, when you call him Sir, most likely he's from London. Now, in 1952, he succeeded to climb 95% to the Everest. He didn't succeed to get to the top, but he was the closest one from a human being to get almost to the top of the Everest. He was the closest. He didn't succeed, but he was the closest. He went to the highest, 1952. You know what they did in Britain? When he came back, they made them a huge party, big one. All the important people, the Prime Minister, the President, all of them came in. They gave him honor. And the whole party was in order to honor the person that almost made it. And he stood up. And they gave him to speak. Behind him was a picture of the Everest. And he didn't speak to no one. He spoke to the pictures and he said, Everest, Everest. This year, I lost. You won and I lost. I didn't succeed to climb all over. I didn't succeed to reach the top. But I have a good news to tell you. That in our battles, in our war, I'm going to win. One day I'm going to climb to the Everest. And I'm going to win over you. And you know why I'm going to win? You know why Everest I'm better from you? The guy is talking to the pictures. He said, because you are a mountain, huge, strong, monster. But you stop growing. A mountain stop growing. And maybe I'm a small little human being. But every day I'm getting better. I'm growing every day. One day, I'm going to make it. 1953, May 1953, Sir Edmund Hillary was the first person to get into the top of the Everest. What's the message for us? The message for us is from the trees. Do not stop growing. The difference between us and anyone around us to animals, us to any other creature is, human beings have the ability every day to become better. And even if you become better a bit, a small steps. Last week, you never came to Shiur Torah. This week, you came to Shiur Torah 10 minutes. After 10 minutes, you felt dizziness, pressures. You miss the computers. You cannot hold yourself 10 minutes with no phones. Chaz v'shalom, you're not important. Nobody sends you messages. You have to follow how many people follow you in Instagram, or in WhatsApp, or in Facebook, or in Gehenna. All day long, I have 3,000, 5,000, 50,000 followers. All these addictions. And suddenly you're sitting down in Shiur Torah. You never come to synagogues and you decide, you know what? Usually I'm coming only in Shabbat. But this week I'm going to accept it myself to come once a week. Once a week in Shacharit. Monday, Thursday, Sunday, no matter what, once a week. I'm going to become this week a bit. Small steps. And even though that maybe you didn't finish the whole tefillah. You came in the beginning and after half an hour you left. Maybe. You decide this week 1 hour not to speak Lashon Hara. 1 hour. The whole 23 hours you're speaking Janganuzi all day long. But 1 hour. 1 hour. You know what? Rabbi, I cannot hold myself the whole day. But at least 1 hour. One Lashon Hara. Not one. The God Mevina said, if you just understand what's the power not to speak one Lashon Hara. You want to say something, you wanted to ask you. I'm not talking. One lashon hara. A different, and the message of trees. Every day you're growing. Every day tree is growing. Ki ha'adam etz hasadeh. You want to be successful in life? You want to be successful in anything? Either in study, either in secular, religion, or anything that you do in life. In a relationship between a man and a woman. I'm married for 21 years, almost 21 years, and I have to tell you, every day is not only a new challenge, every day we grow up to become much better from yesterday. Every day. A message of the trees, Everest, Everest. Today you won, but you stop growing. Tomorrow I'm going to win over you. Maybe I'm smaller, maybe I look like I'm weak, but every day I'm getting better. 1 year later, he climbed the Everest. The message for us is do not ever stop growing. Do not ever stop growing. If this is so, now we understand another tree. Today I'm going to speak about three messages from the tree, and then we're going to get. Do not stop growing. He was a man that every day, Hasid, that every night he used to sleep. Before he went down to sleep after Kriyat Shema, David, you know what he said? Machar, yeh yom shoneh legamrei. You know what I said? Tomorrow is going to be a whole different day. Even if today I fell down 10 times, how many times you're trying to avoid speaking lashon hara and you're falling down? You're trying to wake up in the morning and nap with you. And you have excuses, Kvod Harav, Shalom Bayit, we have excuses, business, we have excuses. You're trying, you really want it. But you're falling down. Ay. Tomorrow is going to be a new day. Accept on yourself every day to become better, even small steps. Even a small. They said that Avraham and Sarah, zekenim ba'im bayamim. Avraham and Sarah, something unique was with them. You know what? It was a rabbi that spoke with him this week. And he told me, Rabbi Vaknin, if you're going to come to Florida, what are you going to do? I said, what do you mean what I'm going to do? I already have 4 or 5 places that wanted me to come to speak, to give lectures in their synagogue. So I don't understand, you're going out to a vacation, and even there you're going to give classes. You cannot just relax. It's one rabbi that's talking to me. Said, first of all, I love what I'm doing. I don't feel that I'm working. You know when you feel that you're working? When you don't like what you're doing. But when you love if what you're doing is your mission in life, is what is the purpose of life, you're in love with what you're doing. You don't need a break. Just the opposite. A. And B, I said, this is a God gift. And B, who gave us the right to take a break? Avraham and Sarah every day came with the days. Meaning every day they did something. Even if something small, but they did something. They improved themselves even a bit. Everest. We are human beings. As much that the Everest is big. Today, how many people already climbed the Everest? Thousands? Maybe 100,000? I don't know how many people. Every day, Israelis, we're like after the army, we have to go outside and that's it. We have to put the flag, Israeli flag in the Everest. That's it, we made it. You know how many people? Because we are a human being. Every day we can become better. But the person said, Rabbi, and you have the right to say it. And many of you have these questions. Rabbi, I try. Not once, not twice. Please, if you can put the phone away. Not once, not twice. I'm trying so hard. I try to accept it myself to come to Shul Torah. I came once, and next time was next year. I try to wake up in the morning already from Rosh Hashanah. You know how many months is Rosh Hashanah? Tishrei, Cheshvan, Kislev, Tevet, Shvat. 5 months from trying. Every day I'm fighting with myself. And it doesn't work out. Rabbi, is there any chance that I will ever make it? How many times a person try to stop smoking? A person try to go and to lose weight? Which one? But the problem is that we have too many holidays. And every holiday is Oshpelo, Sevo, Gushgush, Vechaltu, Sevo. Every holiday is, from one holiday is Martin Luther King. We also celebrate. Even though we have nothing but Martin, I have a dream. Oshpelo. Baruch Hashem. We have to do Yeshua. And another Rosh Pelo. Another Gush Gosher. Right? Baruch Hashem, we're trying. How many times we're trying to upcome our self-spirituality? And we're falling down. And the question is, so what's the secret of success? What is the secret of success? It was a man that asked the rabbi these questions. He came to the rabbi and said, Rabbi, I'm trying already 5 years to become better. And every Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur, especially Yom Kippur, I promise to the Almighty God, this year is going to be different. This year, I will come in the morning to Minyan. This year, I'm going to put tefillin. This year, I'm going to keep Shabbat at the highest level. This year, I will give charity. This year. And next year, I promise the same. God, last year it was different. But next year, this year is going to be. So what's the secret? Listen to this. The rabbi looked at him and said, do you know the tree in China that called bamboo? You know this tree? Bamboo, right? Bamboo. Bamboo. Bamboo?
Yeah. Little poles?
Yes, bamboo. Yes, bamboo, okay. In Israel they call it bamboo, okay? Bamboo. Okay. Do you know the tree? The guy is looking at the rabbi, said, I don't understand. I'm talking about change. I'm talking about improving. I'm talking about religion. And what are you talking about? Bamboo Chinese? What do they have to do with the Chinese? What do they have to do with this tree? The rabbi said, I will tell you. You're going to get a message from the bamboo. The second message, the first message was from the Everest. The second message is from bamboo. What's the message of bamboo, Yeshua? What's the message? The rabbi said, how long it take the bamboo to go? Do you know how long? 1 year you put water, you nurture it, nothing happen. Bamboo is dead. 2 year, bamboo is dead. After 3 years, bamboo is dead. 4, only in the 5 years, in few weeks, the bamboo is going to reach 98 feet. Bamboo is a tall tree, strong, solid. Chinese build everything with this tree. He said, 5 years, nothing, dead. Rahmat Kunam. Where is the person? The tree is dead. After 5 years. Now, the rabbi is asking the guy, tell me, when exactly the tree is growing? So the guy said, yes. After 5 years, it just started growing. And the rabbi said, no. The tree was growing the whole 5 years. Imagine yourself after 2 years, you stop putting water. What's going to happen to the tree? It's going to die. Imagine yourself, in the 4th year, you're going to stop it. Meaning you have to nurture it, even though that you don't see different, even though that you don't see change. But the change happen. You know, when you engrave something, 1, 2, it happen. I saw it many times. When people that came in to Thailand, they went in, they didn't, you know, Israelis, when they go to Thailand, no offense, but they're not looking for God. They're looking for a full moon. No, they're not even looking for trees. They're looking for a full moon party. When you take, whatever, drugs, when you, mushroom. But not the mushroom that you eat in the salad. They have mushroom that when you eat 1, you're talking to God. When you eat 2, you see the next to Eliyahu Navi, you can hug Eliyahu. Mushroom, they give you 2. Now they go in there to get wild, to get crazy. And what exactly happened? They find Chabad. You're going to Gehenna, even in Gehenna you can find Chabad. And over there the Chabad is talking to them and putting tefillin and look like nothing changed. The guys continue with this nonsense. Years later, you're going to ask him, when was the turning point? He said, the first time that I put tefillin. And that time I didn't feel. I came to Shiur Torah and it looked like nothing changed. Nothing changed. What exactly changed? That's right. I came in with the same knowledge. Nothing changed. No. It was a major change. You don't see it now. But in few months, few days, few weeks, a few months. When you're going to decide to wake up in the morning and say, you know what? I have to finish Masechet. I have to come every day to Shiur Torah and study myself. Suddenly they see you open the books and they tell you, wow, you become a rabbi. Oh, Boshet, Khalfa, they call you Khalfa. Daniel, they call you Khalfa. When you walk into the synagogue, they stand up and they give you, and they're asking, when exactly the change happened? And you're going to think, today, the change didn't happen today. The change happened 5 years before, 4 years before, 1 year before, or maybe a few months before. When you decide to come into the class at Monday night, and you engrave the message of the tree. The message of the tree, the second message is what? אבנים, אבנים. שחקו המים. המים שחקו אבנים. Rabbi Akiva saw water. And water fell down. Water fell down in what? In a rock. And because of that, Rabbi Akiva did teshuvah. What's the connection between changing your life because of water? Rabbi Akiva is walking. And you see water. You know how water is falling? Tick. 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 You know how many tick you need in order to make a hole in a rock, in a stone? Maybe a few 100,000, right? So when I'm going to ask you, when exactly the hole happened? When exactly? In the last tick or in the first one? In the first one. The last one you just see it. But the hole starts much before. Every time you wake up in the morning, every time you put in the tefillin, every time you keep Shabbat, every time that you accept in yourself certain mitzvah, you already change. You might don't see it, but the change happening. The second message of the tree. The first one is Everest, Everest. You might stronger and bigger, but you stop growing. We are small and weak, but every day we become better. And if you're going to ask, how can it be? I mean, I'm not changing, I'm not getting better. You're getting better. You just don't know it yet. Every word of Torah, every word from the Almighty God already engraved in your mind. And the message already going in. This is what we call in English or in psychology, hidden commercial. You know what I mean, hidden commercial? They give you commercial that you don't even realize that there's any connections. And it's going straight to your mind. Years later, you remember, what do you have to buy this car? Why this car? Because you saw the commercial years before. Hidden information. Come the tree and teach you. Remember that the change already happened. And last but not least. So how exactly we can change? How exactly we can change? Rabbi, ladies and gentlemen, the last message of the tree of today is, they have in California, I believe in Los Angeles, forest, that they have the biggest tree in the world. You know which tree is the biggest one in the world? Not 98 feet, 400 feet. They are huge. They are monsters. Gorillas, you know, King Kong. You see the tree, you don't know, people is going there just to take selfie. Selfie with the tree, selfie with the tree. I don't know if you can get in the selfie with the tree, because 400 feet, how you can, but you have to have a special camera. iPhone number 13 Pro Max, America, only then, 3 zoom, 3 camera, balagan, okay, wait, in order to, listen to this, what's his name? I forgot the, not Yitzchak, listen to this. You know what's the name of this tree? What's that?
Cedar tree.
No, almost.
Redwood.
Who's it? Redwood. Redwood tree. But you know what's unique about these trees? Something very unusual. You know how big is the root of this tree? Only 5 feet. 5 feet that holding 400 feet tree. Usually when you build a building, if you want the building to have 18 floors, or especially 80 floors, what do you need? Many floors under. The foundation have to be solid. The bigger the roots, the bigger that you can build. Any tree in the world have huge roots. There's almost the smallest root in the world holding the biggest tree in the world. And the question is how? Listen to the message. Gentlemen, ladies, Tu Bishvat. Tu Bishvat is a human being that compared to tree. Why? First of all, to remind you that you're always growing. Second, to remind you that what? The change already happened. The change already happened. And last but not least, David, listen to this. You know what? Do you know what's unique with this redwood? The root, Yitzchak, is very small. But for some reason, redwood is not a tree that grows by himself. They have many trees, and all the roots connect to each other. You know that? All of them somehow connect to each other. They're holding each other. You see, one root is going to there, and the other, they become together. And then they're all holding themselves. Might be that the message is, if you want to be strong, the only way is when we hold in each other. What's the purpose of getting married? What's the purpose of what's the problem to be alone? Nobody tell me what to do. I can do whatever I want. I don't have to answer my message or text message. Especially when the wife is getting cuckoo, she's sending you 200 smiley face. In the beginning is the nice one, and then they have the guy that is upset, and then the red one. The red one is dangerous. Why? Houston, we have a problem. When you see the red, and if you see 3 of them, you know, women always, when they react, they're always sending messages. And sometimes you have a letter, a whole parasha is shorter from what your wife done. It's like taking you 45 minutes just to read what you want. Okay? And then the end is always that emoji. I love the emoji. Now, what's the message of this one? Why do we need to get married? Why? Many of you have, the Rabbi is right. I'm asking myself the same questions. Abraham, you know why? David, you know why we need? Why we need to get married? You know why? טובים השתיים מן האחד. When you are 2, you are triple, or maybe even 10 times stronger when you are 1. 1 plus 1 doesn't equal 2. 1 plus 1 equal 3. This is your mistakes. You went in to secular school, and over there perhaps they teach you, hello today, good morning to you guys, 1 by 1 plus 2. And Rabbi Vaknin said, 1 by 1, and I'm going to prove it to you. Tell me, if I can pick up 100 kilo, and Dr. Daniel here can pick up 100 kilo, how much we can pick up together? Solid. You know that together we can pick up 300? But you can ask me, but Rabbi, I don't understand. Logic-wise, in a secular school they teach us 100 plus 100 equal to 100. So how come I can pick up 300? Because when you join forces, you're much more stronger. You're much more stronger. Emet? That's it. Come the redwood tree and teach you. You have no roots. But when you are together, when you hold in, and this is what loving your fellow Jew is so important. You know why loving your fellow Jew? Because when Moshe Rabbeinu, this week parasha, went to receive the Torah, he had a problem. What's the problem? How can I give the Torah to people that physically cannot keep it? When I'm giving the Torah, listen to this. Moshe Rabbeinu had the questions. What's the question of Moshe? How can I give something that you cannot keep? What's the meaning? Binyamin, are you a woman or man? Man, beautiful. Can you keep the mitzvot of a woman?
No.
So you know how many mitzvot you already missing?
No.
David, you are Kohen or Israel?
Sure.
Very nice. Do you know that you just took out by saying Israel close to maybe 150 to 200 mitzvot that you cannot do because you're not a Kohen? You understand? By saying Israel, you just went down. We have 613 mitzvot. Not being a Kohen, you already knocked down almost 200 mitzvot. Listen to this. So Moshe Rabbeinu said, I don't understand, if he's a Kohen, he's not Israel. If he's Israel, he's not Levi. If he's Levi, he's not a woman. If he's a woman, he's not a man. If he's a child, he's not adult. I mean, logic-wise, no human being can keep the whole Torah mitzvot. So who that I'm giving this? Yitzchak, this question you're going to answer in Shabbat. When you're going to answer this question in Shulchan Shabbat. This Parashat Matan Torah, Moshe Rabbeinu want to give us a gift that we cannot handle. We cannot handle the gift. So what's the purpose to give it? If he's giving it to us, what's the purpose? This is the questions that ask a goy asked this question. Hillel HaZaken, when he came into Hillel, one of the greatest rabbis, said, teach me the whole Torah in one leg. Can you really study the whole Torah in one leg? If I will teach you 1 halacha, it's going to take a few hours. 1 hour, in here, right now. 45 minutes, stand up like this one leg. After 5 minutes, you fall down. Teach me the whole Torah when I'm standing. And the answer is, he didn't ask the Hillel to teach him the whole Torah. He said, how can I keep the Torah in one mitzvah? 1 leg. What is the foundation? What is the pillar that if I have this pillar, I can keep the whole Torah? What's the pillar? And come Hillel Zaken and teach us a message. A message. What a message? What a message. Ashreinu, Ashreinu, Ashreinu. How fortunate we are to come tonight and to hear this message. What's the message? The message of Hillel Zaken is two messages. It's only two ways to keep the whole Torah. Only two ways. What's the only two ways? The first way is Mashesanu Elach. Loving your fellow Jew. You know why loving your fellow Jew? Why every person, every Jew, man and a woman, Ashkenazi or Sfaradi, Litai or Hasidi, anyone, adult, young, and in between, all of us started tefillah by doing what? Areni mekabel alai. I accept on myself to love my fellow Jew. Why is it important? You know why? Because if I love every Jew, so all your mitzvot become my mitzvot. And if I love the Kohanim, all their obligations become mine. And all my mitzvot, they become in them. When we are like the redwood tree, when the root is connected, maybe even the root is small, but when we are connected, nothing, no wind we can get to 400 feet, not 98, 400 feet, the biggest and the tallest tree in the world, and the biggest and the tallest tree in the world. Why? Because we love each other. No fight, no hate, no janganuzi, no lashon hara. Rabbi, he talked to me. He said me, I have to react because I am a man. I have to stand for my right. My arrogant and yeah, balloon. You know, balloon like Popeye. I have to react. Psst, relax. Take away the arrogant and increase the level of love. Because when you love your wife and your wife love you, then you fulfill the whole Torah mitzvot. Moshe Rabbeinu said one way to fulfill is either you fulfill the whole Torah mitzvot, or either you study the whole Shulchan Aruch. Ve'idach zil gemor. Hillel Zaken give him two tips. The first one is the easiest one. It's not so easy. Because loving every fellow Jew, even a Jew that made competition, a Jew that come into your office and study all the business from you, and a minute later open next door and stole your customer, and you ended tefillah, you said, I accept on myself to love every Jew. Do you love this guy? Every day in the tefillah you said, let them go, let them leave. You're cursing the guy, and you accepting every day, loving your fellow Jew. Even the Jew that took a loan from you and he doesn't pay you. And you said, where's my money? He said, Chodachat. You know, when Bukharin tell you Chodachat, meaning you will never see the money. Don't worry. And they do it dramatic. Chodachat. Better Chodachat. Don't worry. He took 10,000 and he's paying you $10 every month. Meaning it's going to take you until 120, but you promised me 6 months. And you are accepting yourself to love him. How can I love the guy? How can I love this person? If you love every Jew, you remember, you fulfill the whole Torah mitzvot. And if not, if it's very difficult to love a fellow Jews, one is another way. To study the whole Torah. To take the Shulchan Aruch and to study everything. You know how long it's going to take you? Why? To study the whole Torah. Because if you study, you consider to be like you made it, right? מענה עליו הכתוב כאילו שעשה. When you read in the morning korbanot, why is it important to read korbanot? And this moment consider to be that what? Beautiful. So when you study Alachot Shabbat, consider to be that you keep the Shabbat. So in order to keep the 613, you have to study the whole Shulchan Aruch. So either you study the whole Torah, or either you love every Jew. How did they say in Arabic? I love you, you love me, we are a happy family. I love you, you love me. Yitzchak, we are a happy family. You understand? The only way to become a happy family is to love every Jew. Every Jew that exists. And if you love Abraham, every Jew, then you fulfill. Then the Torah is among you. So the first message of the tree is, Everest. We're always going. The second message is, we're already going. You remember the tree, the bamboo? You remember the bamboo? We're always going. And the last one is the redwood. What's the redwood? We're always connected. Maybe our root is not strong. Maybe my father and my grandfather in Bukhara was nobody. I love it. Every person you ask him, especially Sfaradim, don't look at me like this. You know who's my father? My grandfather was the chief rabbi of this, and he was here. Don't. Who are you? My root is very weak. Very weak. I have no roots. 5 feet root. That's it. 5 feet. 5 feet. And the answer is you don't need roots. If you connect your root to other proportion roots, you become unlimited. You become strong. You can build 400 feet. What a message. What a message. I will end with this one. Rabbi, we have another 10 minutes. I'm going to end with this one. A question that I saw today. Rabbi Ashkenazi brought these questions. And the question is a fair and a deep question. Asking the right questions and getting the right answer. Why? Why every time you ask a Jew anything, physically and spirituality, he tells you, I'm going to ask my rabbi. I'm going to ask my rabbi. You're asking a person to go to surgery or not? Let me ask my rabbi. What did the rabbi know? I don't understand. What did the rabbi know? I understand in Torah. You have questions in halakha? That's fair deal. Fair deal, right? You're asking questions in halakha. Rabbi, what's the halakha? To say sheikhenu or not? The answer is according to Sfaradim, we don't do sheikhenu. Ashkenazim do, we don't do. On a car. On a brand new car. Okay. So you ask the rabbi, you got the answer. I know it. You get the answer, right? Baruch Hashem. So I understand in halakha. But people go into open business. And the partner said, are you ready? And the business looked like a fire. A fire. Hey, you're going to make money. And what do you tell the partner? 1 second. Before I make the decision, I'm going... When exactly you rabbi become understanding in business? Clothing business, or technology business, or any business. What did the rabbi know about this location or that location? No, I have to... If we move location, we have to ask a rabbi. You getting married? I mean, I don't understand. That I date you person, or you date him? You date him, right? So why are you asking a rabbi? Rabbi, is the cheese good for me or not? The tea is good for me or not? Why among Jews? Question, huh? I see that everybody is going to stay. You want to know the answer? I know. Okay, we're going to do it next week. Can I push this the answer? The whole week you're not going to sleep. Wait. I have these questions. So I'm going to give one version. One version. Today we're going to go in the basic. We're going to give one version. Hopefully, next week or the following weeks, we're going to give the others. Daniel, Benjamin, Daniel and Nathan, if we're doing it for the memories of grandmother, we have to give a class that you never heard before. I know, you're waiting for it, I know. Keep it going. Where Rabbi saying? So much that I will tell you. It's like God gave a certain key to the rabbis that their decision make a difference. You know who's the first one that did it? One of the first one, not the first one. And all the mistakes that happened in our generation happened because they didn't ask the rabbi. You know that the brother of Yosef sold Yosef? They didn't ask the rabbi. Who is the rabbi in that day? Yaakov, beautiful. So they had a rabbi. Why you don't go to ask the rabbi? They didn't ask the rabbi. What's the result? We went down to 210. The reason that we left Egypt, we are already in the mix of the parasha is because of what? Second, this is the worst sin in the history is what? Sending Yosef. What's the second? It might be the fourth. But what's the second worst sin? Dr. Daniel, what's the second sin that we did? What's the second sin? The biggest one in the world. Until now we're paying the price for it. What? Chet HaEgel, the golden calf. Why did the Jews did all the golden calf? They didn't ask who? They didn't ask Moshe Rabbeinu. Even Aaron, they didn't ask him. They didn't give him a choice. They said, listen, if you answer against us, we're going to kill you. Aaron, they didn't really ask Aaron. They didn't give him any choice. So meaning they didn't. Two of the biggest sin in the world history happened because of what? They didn't. It was a child, young and beautiful, strong. His name is King Saul. You know King Saul? I love it in English. Sounds so dramatic. King Saul. Shaul HaMelech. In Hebrew, Shaul HaMelech simple. In English, King Saul. You know King Saul? King Saul was a young, beautiful, tall, like our David, kapara alav. He put gel, chocolate mousse, banana mousse, balagan, mousse nakel, makash, it's all. King Saul is going in and looking. Shlomi, kapara alecha, Shlomi, he's walking around and he's looking for his donkey. He lost the donkeys. And, you know, he's looking for he's afraid to come back home. You know, it's not nice for his father. His father's going to be upset with him. So he's telling his friends, his worker, They said, I don't know what to do. Let's go back home. It's late. Okay, we lost the donkeys. He said, what are you talking? Let's go to the person that see. בואו נלך לרועה. רועה או רועה? רועה. מה זה רועה? A person that can see. A person. Who's the person in each generation that was see? Shmuel HaNavi. They went into Shmuel HaNavi. And Shmuel HaNavi, by the way, told them where is the donkeys. And not only that, he's looking in Shaul and said, are you looking for donkeys? You're going to be the king of Israel. The Gemara said, הלך לחפש אתונות, מצא מלכות. He went to look for donkey. He find out what? That he's going to be the king. Because of who? Because of the rabbis. Shmuel HaNavi is the one that told them. For years, Roni and Tzvi, Pirkei Avot, twice, the first chapter, the attic of our father. Attic of our father? Attic of our fathers. No, leave it. Pirkei Avot. And Pirkei Avot, they said, just make it quiet, yes. Pirkei Avot, they said, listen to this. When they said Pirkei Avot, twice, why twice? It's like, why twice? Let's see if you can figure out why twice. The first one is, עשה לך רב, מסתלק מן הספק. The second one, עשה לך רב, וקנה לך רב. Make yourself a rabbi and go out from a safek, from a doubt. Make yourself a rabbi. They have to have a rabbi. You have to have a rabbi. And go out from doubt. And the second one is, make yourself a rabbi and have a good friends. Have a good friends. You told me in the same chapter, make yourself a rabbi. Hello, I'm not deaf. Why do you have to repeat yourself twice? Why do you have to repeat yourself twice? It's like, why do you have to repeat yourself twice? Why Pirkei Avot in the first chapter repeat twice, עשה לך רב? Why? Do you know why, Danny? You know why? Because the first one to ask questions in halacha. עשה לך רב, הסתלק מן הספק. If you have a questions in halacha, how to put the tefillin? If the tefillin is kosher or not? Rabbi, this lashon hara or not lashon hara? Halachot. To go to the mikveh or not to go to the mikveh? When is Kriyat Shema? When is Ban Tefillah? Questions. Rabbi, this kashrut is kosher or not? I'm in Miami or in Mexico, Islam Mujeres, and I see something. I'm calling my rabbi to check if this is kosher or not. This is questions of halacha. Halacha meaning Shulchan Aruch. You call the rabbi. This is one. The second one, עשה לך רב, וקנה לך חבר. השקפה. השקפה meaning, rabbi, to open business here or not to open business. To get married with this person or not. This is not halacha already. This is halacha. Is any halacha to get married with a certain person? The halacha said that you have to get married with the Jew. That's it, you get married with the Jew. The halacha tell you where exactly to open business or which business to be. One is because you have to ask a rabbi halachot. And the second one, you have to have a rabbi to ask him the same rabbi, the Meiri right, that there is a rabbi that is like a friend, meaning that you can open up everything that you have. You have to have very, very, how do you say it? Fair and decent in your questions. Meaning, people ask you questions when they want to get the answer that they want. They come to you and they said, Rabbi, I want to ask you if this date is good for me or not. And then they tell you, by the way, it's not us. And it's not coming from the same town. And it doesn't speak Russian. And they give in all the negative of the person, in order for you to say it's not good for you. No. When you're asking the questions, you have to give the whole pictures. When you have to come with the fair questions. עשה לך רב meaning that you feel so comfortable to put all the pictures in there. So one of them is for us, and the question is why? Why do we need a rabbi? Why do we need a rabbi? What is not good with us? What's the power of the rabbi over us? רבותיי, I will end with this one. באמת, the angels, when Moshe Rabbeinu came to the Torah, the first question that we ask today is, Moshe Rabbeinu had the questions why to bring the Torah. David, the second question is, the angels tried to fight with God not to give us the Torah. Do you know why the angel fight with God? I don't understand, what bothered the angel that God is going to give us the Torah? Imagine yourself, I'm giving you a gift. I'm giving Daniel a gift, and Nathan is sitting, well, Rabbi, why are you giving my brother the gift? Why this? Jealousy. Exactly. So the angel have their jealousy. Beautiful. Usually human beings have it. Angel doesn't have it. So what's the problem to give him double? Moshe Rabbeinu, when Yeshua come and complain, everybody become prophet. What Moshe Rabbeinu said? I wish the whole nation is going to become a prophet. What, they bother me? Is my cost? Is it my price? Let all of them be righteous. Let all of them be leaders. Let all of them become Moshe Rabbeinu. What's the problem? What's the jealousy? Beautiful. Who is the one that mentioned it? Beautiful point. Avram, the angel of jealousy? No. Second, if the angel already bothered, why he took them until Moshe Rabbeinu? Why they didn't bother when Avraham Avinu kept the whole Torah? When Yitzchak Avinu kept the whole Torah? Why then they didn't bother? It took them 2,000 years, 2,400. Why did it take you so long to wake up? Good morning, America. If it bother you, why you giving the Torah to human being? Why? Do you know why? Because, the Torah said like this. Noten Torah. You know what's mean Noten Torah? God gave a gift to a rabbi or any person that studied Torah. But when his Torah is alive, what's the gift? The gift is that you can make a decision that even God have to agree. Meaning, if they have an argument between heaven to down here, we follow who? We follow heaven or we follow here? No, we follow here. החודש הזה לכם ראש חודשים. Avram, you know what's mean החודש הזה? You know who decide when is Kriyat Shema, when not? You know who decides who's Rosh Chodesh, who's not? The rabbis. So much that one time it was a machloket between Rabban Gamliel and Rabbi Yehoshua, two rabbis. And Rabban Gamliel was the president, and he had two witnesses that said, the Levana, the moon, is in the sky. So Rabban Gamliel stood up and said, today is Rosh Chodesh. That Rosh Chodesh was Rosh Hashanah. Meaning 10 days later is what? Yom Kippur. Rabbi Yehoshua said, Rabbi, they are crooked. These witnesses, they are crooked. The rabbi said, no, they are not. I'm the Av Bedin, and they are good. And you know what exactly happened? It was a huge machloket that almost swept the whole rabbis. And Rabbi Yehoshua didn't want to agree. He said, I'm going to follow, I'm going to make Yom Kippur 1 day later. Because according to me, Rosh Chodesh is 1 day later. You know what exactly happened? You know what Rabbi Gamliel said? You are obligated to come to me on Yom Kippurim and to break your own Yom Kippurim. Why? Because we are the one that decides. Beit Din have the ability, how do we call it in simple English? Tzaddik gozer v'Hashem mekayim. A righteous man have the ability. Ish Torah have the ability that when he made a decree, the world have to follow this decree. The world have to follow. Do you know why? Because they have the eyes of Torah. The eyes of Torah. What's mean the eyes of Torah? Meron, listen to this. It was a man in Russia that had a sickness in his own stomach. And he came into the Tzemach Tzedek. Tzemach Tzedek is the third rabbi of Chabad. Chabad rabbi number 3. He came in Russia to the Tzemach Tzedek. The doctor told them that you have 24 hours to live. You know what the rabbi told them? Move to Israel right away. Move to Israel. Tonight you move into Israel. And you're going to live for many years. You have nothing to worry. You will never die. The guy moved to Israel. 1 year, 2 years. 50 years. They told him 24 hours, 50 years. After 50 years, he came back. And he asked the Tzemach Tzedek, Rabbi, what's the connection for my sickness? What's the connection for my sickness? That you told me to go outside and to live in Israel. Right away. What's the connection? Listen to the story, beautiful story. He said, they have two rabbis that have the argument. If an animal have the same sickness that you had, how long the animal can live? If an animal can live less from 1 year, meaning that the animal is what? Trefa, not kosher. And if the animal will live above 1 year, the animal is kosher. Rabbi Moshe Israelis, the Rama, the Ashkenaz Rabbi, said that the animal have to die less from 1 year. You cannot eat this animal. And Maran Bet Yosef said that this sickness is not strong. The animal can live for many years. Listen to this. He said, when you live in Russia, Pauline and German, that everybody follow according to Ashkenazim. Who is the main rabbi of Ashkenazim? Who is the main rabbi? Rama. So you're not going to leave. But when you go into Eretz Israel, in that time, Eretz Israel, who is the Maradatra? Rabbi Yosef Karo. So Rabbi Yosef Karo said that this sickness does not exist. Meaning that the rabbi with their decision affect reality. What's the, very simple. Affect reality. When people came to the Baba Sani and they asked him a question and he said, listen, don't do the surgery. Don't do the surgery. I will tell you a story that happened to me. And it's not because I'm a hidden tzaddik. And you know, right away, it's Faradim, you're going to look. Yitzhak, I had one of my students. He came to me and he said, Rabbi Vaknin, he had a child that needed to do surgery. And the doctor told him to do the surgery urgent. Meaning it's a question of death or life. Don't ask me until now why. I looked at him and I looked at the child. I said, do not do it. Don't do it. You're going to do it, the child is going to die. Just the opposite. Don't do it. Live with this, live with the faith. Again, don't ask me how. The Almighty God. You know, tzaddik gozer. When you have the power of Torah, when you study Torah, the Almighty God gave the world to follow the decision of Torah. You know why, Rabbi, when he tell you to make the decision, which business, in which woman to get married, in which university to go to study? Does the Rabbi know better from you? Physically? No. Logic-wise? No. But the Rabbi has siyata dishmaya. The power of Torah. When you put in yourself to study and study and study Torah, your mouth come, the mouth of God. How do we call it siyata dishmaya? B'nei. The baby is still alive. Maybe, I'm going to tell you exactly. 5 years ago. 5 years ago, and the baby is alive. And all the doctor admit that if he did, it was a brain surgery to take away tumor from his brain. A child, he was 5. That time he was 3 years old. If they made the surgery, he will definitely die. Not maybe. He's still alive. You ask me how? I said לך רב, והסתלק מן הספק. Make yourself a rabbi. And go out from a doubt. And if you want to become your rabbi, no problem. Study Torah. Study Torah. Dedicate time for Shiur Torah. Either Shiur Torah that you come to listen, or either Shiur Torah that you study yourself. You sit down at home, David and Daniel, and you open the books, and you open Gemara, and you still sitting down and you study. You study. Before you're going to make a business deal, then Dr. Daniel, before you're going to make a new deal, a big deal that can make a difference, or before you're going to sign a new contract, what do? You open the book and you study Torah. And you're going to see that either that the rabbi will never go. There was a rabbi that came here and he said, Rabbi Vaknin, I know that the whole world is fighting and arguing to make the vaccine or not to make the vaccine. Now they have a proof to here and proof to there. If you're going to watch YouTube, it's scary. You're going to see people that made the vaccine, metal got stick to them, and they got heart attack and they died. From the other hand, you see people that didn't took the vaccine and died. So which one is right? Now we are in America, and most of the American Jews, I don't know most, especially in New York, we don't like the vaccine. Right? We don't trust. And this rabbi came to me, the chief rabbi of Bat Yam, and he said, Rabbi Vaknin, I don't know if the vaccine is good or not. I don't know what's the master plan behind. Money, business, I don't know, but one thing I know. God will never let the chief rabbi of Israel to make wrong decision. And if most of the rabbis in Israel, 95% of them, vote confident to make the vaccine, even if they had read wrong information, but Rabbi, they told them this, they whisper, mistake.